Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Murphy Street Podcast. I'll be the host of the show, Murphy. Joining me today, as always, my guy CeeLo. Tell everybody what's up.
What's up, everybody?
Now you know, rules of Murphy Street are simple and always the same. Shoes and slippers at the door, come inside and let's talk story. Speaking of talk story, CeeLo, let's catch up. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, work's been pretty nuts.
Working?
Yeah, I think we had another manager come back, which takes a lot of load off of me.
Nice.
So I'm kind of back to my area like 95% of the time now, which is good.
Very good. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of projects. Some I can't disclose, but I'll let anyone know eventually.
But that's the ones we want to hear about, CeeLo.
I know exactly. When it starts, I'll be happy to talk about it. But a lot of projects that I was able to kind of wrap up last week.
Nice.
Which is kind of cool. I'd be excited to talk about it when it does start. But it's kind of nice because we've been working on this project for the last few months.
Right.
You know, finally once you're actually going through the project itself, it's kind of a nice feeling, and then to wrap it up.
Have it finalized.
Yeah. So it's a good feeling. It also means I have one less thing to worry about. Which
that's
is
always the great thing.
Yeah.
Always a great thing.
So my schedule's kind of normalized a little bit more now.
Good. Very good. But we can always expect to have you on the podcast.
Absolutely.
Nice. Well, you know, as for me, I have been working on something, and I actually haven't announced it on the podcast. How's it going, you guys? I haven't announced it on the podcast, but I don't know. Should we say something?
It's all you, my man.
I know. I don't know how well, I guess I'll say this. I've been working on a bigger project. I've been working on progressing the Murphy Street Podcast outside of just its current situation. So we'll see how that goes, but that's where I've been devoting a lot of my time to it. And then, you know, as I've been doing that, obviously other things have been starting to pop up. So it's just like, when I'm finally getting rolling on something exciting, everything starts to it's like a avalanche, right? So we'll see how that goes.
I have to say, even the logo, I wasn't here for
the
logo,
unveiling.
but it came out awesome.
Yes, thank you very much. That was Rowan Ching. Ro, thank you very much. I mean, you know, we paid a pretty good amount for it, but at the same time, I feel like we got a very, very good product out of it, and so I'm happy with it. Happy with yours?
I love it. I messaged you as soon as you guys posted it.
Right.
Where
that's right.
One of my friends who watches the podcast saw it, and he was just kind of scrolling, and he's like, "Oh, that looks like CeeLo, or reminds me of CeeLo," and I was like, "Dude, that's perfect. That's exactly like the point of it." So.
Yeah. So in case you guys haven't seen it, we now have a new Murphy Street Podcast logo, just a new Murphy Street logo, and we have 3 avatars that represent ourselves, that kind of show you or hint or allude to kind of our I don't know, what would you say, our shticks.
Yeah.
Right? So CeeLo's the Funko Pop horror guy because he was kind of the bigger Funko guy when we first started this. Bronson is a Power Ranger Pokemon just made in the anime style, which I feel like is great for him. And then I'm of course Darth Maul with the Black Panther pose. I wonder if people got that. Did you guys get that? Did you guys get that when you guys saw the logo? Can you tell he's doing the Wakanda thing? Who's that? Oh, Jose. Taking a quick peek before filming. Hey, good seeing you too, Jose. What are you filming?
By.
Waikiki PD. You guys filming Waikiki PD? Nice. You guys don't want Murphy Street Podcast can get on your Waikiki PD? What's that about, Jose? No, but have a good day filming, man. We appreciate you for stopping in, and we definitely look forward to some of your hilarious content. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, Funky Monkey. Monkey with MONKEE00. He is part of the Waikiki PD production. You gotta check them out. They released a couple. Have you seen their latest things?
I haven't. No, not the latest.
I know. I want to say on like the 808 viral feed or something like that. They had the interrogations. That was fantastic. So awesome job on that, Jose. I love the interrogations. Looking forward to seeing more. Nice to see the Wakanda pose confirmed. Hey, yes it is. Thank you. I thought so, but wasn't 100% sure. Yep. Other stuff for now I might be able to share soon. Okay. Nice. We're looking forward to that, Jose. Yeah, so for when you jump off, man, we appreciate you stopping by. Have a great night of filming, all right? But okay, let's jump right into this. Now, I'm not sure if were you here when we talked about Disneyland reopening?
I don't know if it was a main segment, but I know that there was probably an episode, I think, where we were kind of talking about it, about, you know, them letting in, like, what was it, 15%?
Right, yes. Oh, yeah, that's right, you were.
California, so it was... Yeah, that conversation.
Yes, yeah, exactly right. So we will reiterate that Disneyland is set to open April 30th. The gates will open up finally. The happiest place on earth will be pulsing with life once again. So when you do that, obviously now with the new systems, you have to do a couple extra steps. And so luckily for us, well, not luckily for us, because the one thing that we did gripe about was the fact that Disneyland will only be for California residents.
Yes.
Right? And so From what I understand, you needed a zip code and an address, which, by the way, I still know my Anaheim zip code and address. But anyway, so luckily for us, I believe her name was Lorraine. Yeah, Lorraine Alley did a article from the LA Times. It was titled "Commentary Inside the Maddening 28-Hour Odyssey to Buy Tickets for Disneyland's Reopening." How's it going, Brats? So let's go through a little bit of what I read, and then let's talk through a couple things, because I want to hear if you know of any other experiences or if you've heard anything from anyone else. So Lorraine actually talks about this firsthand because she's trying to get the tickets for her and her son. First of all, very early in her segment or in her piece, she says the process was a 28-hour online odyssey. Never a good thing when you're calling the ticket buying process an odyssey, right? When I think of the Odyssey is actually where I learned the word arduous. Okay. Because, I believe it was in like one of the early chapters that the word arduous came out. And so anytime I hear the word Odyssey, that's obvious, that's on the first thing that's like synonymous with it for me. So when I heard that, I was like, oh no, here we go. And sure enough, so April 15th, ticket queues were open to California residents. It opened at 8 a.m. And to quote Lorraine Alley once again, she says that it was infuriating. It was an infuriating first come first served system that seemed designed by Mr. Toad.
And when I read that, I missed it. I didn't catch the Mr. Toad reference.
Yeah, no, absolutely was. No worries, Bronx. We know what it's like, brother. We will be here all the time. But we hope your day gets better. Have a drink for us with us. But yeah, so infuriating, designed by Mr. Toad. I don't know if you guys have ever been on the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah, fantastic Mr. Toad, or what
yeah,
is it? Mr.
whatever it's called.
Whatever,
yeah, but it's pretty stressful.
Yeah.
You go through like a courtroom, right? You go through like hell, and
for little kids, they're pretty sharp, quick turns. That
yeah,
you
it really is. It's a super windy turn. So very interesting analogy here. I love Lorraine Alley's writing. Lot of great uses of metaphors, but also at times she was very direct. For instance, when talking about the process and how she felt like it was arranged, she said instructions were muddled, information on one's place in line were vague, wait times were preposterous, even by theme park standards. That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. Now, she also goes on to say that the site crashed, pages glitched, and bad cookies, not the delicious kind, derailed my journey to the happiest bleep 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 place on earth. Man, I didn't get to see, obviously I should have probably tried to see it just for journalistic sake, but she wrote some really interesting stuff at this point. How are you feeling so far about this process, and are you surprised at any of what you've read?
I'm not. I think of all restrictions, California is one of the states that have the strongest restrictions.
Right.
And I would say, well, I wouldn't say they have the largest population.
Yes.
For a state in the United States. It's expected. I mean, you've seen what happens to regular concerts with no restrictions.
Yeah.
Trying to get into a Backstreet Boys concert in Hawaii. It was a fight to try to get.
I wouldn't know,
tickets.
CeeLo. I'll take your word for it, though.
Yeah, I tried.
CeeLo tried to get Backstreet Boys tickets, you guys.
Tell me that doesn't bring back some nostalgia. Guarantee you know every single word to their
I
main
might,
song. Not
but
to their albums, but to their main songs.
I was gonna say I get them and NSYNC mixed up. If I'm being honest.
That's fair. I would.
Okay, thank you.
But it doesn't come as a surprise. You're talking about how many millions of people who've been locked up. That sounds like Chris.
Right. Yeah.
But essentially locked down with
there we
nothing
go. Yeah.
to do.
Better verbiage.
Barely access to restaurants, opening, closing.
Especially in that Southern California area.
Yeah, especially in the Southern California area, Bay Area, all of the main areas. Like you haven't been able to do much. So
right.
If you hear Disneyland is going to open, how many millions of people are going to try to get your tickets? And like I said, concerts can't even handle the traffic. How do you expect a whole state to try to get a 15% capacity in California?
Yeah.
You've got to expect it. And it's frustrating. Like, don't get me wrong. It's if you're trying to get them, I'm sure it's frustrating as all heck.
Yeah.
But it's expected. The funny thing, though, is I don't recall news coming out like this in Florida.
No, but that's the other thing, right? Is Florida, I believe, is more sparsely populated, I guess, and I don't know. I mean,
but opened up to anybody, really.
What was the response like, or what was? I wonder what the, I guess, opening response between Disneyland or Disney World and Universal, because Universal is a much more respected
Universal,
park
I think, was one of the first ones to open.
Okay,
if
and
I
that might be
from my
why.
friends.
Because is Universal open in LA? I don't believe so.
I don't
right?
think so. No.
Yeah. So and I think that's probably another reason why as well.
I think the other reason why it may have been like that is because when when World opened, people I think were still new to this. Not new as in like we had just started.
Oh, right.
But people were still a little bit nervous to go out. They hadn't got the like cabin fever that they have now.
Yes.
And I think at this point people are just waiting for things to open up, so you have that big drive to purchase tickets.
Yes,
versus
absolutely.
Florida, where everybody's like, you know what, I'm gonna hold off for now and see what happens.
That's that's an absolutely great, and I feel like that's a good point, because that you don't remember getting that type of response. And even like the opening, I remember us watching or kind of paying attention to the opening of Japan, right? Yeah, and it was nothing like this. So it's very interesting but maybe it just wasn't covered by someone with the prowess of a LA Times writer.
True.
That we saw anyway. But let's go on. She goes on to say that there was vague messaging on wait times, such as more than an hour, or the more mysterious recalculating. Apparently, it was a 2 reservation process. So you needed to 1, secure your tickets, and then you needed to 2, reserve a time slot. I guess
for you to go.
Right, for entry into the park. So I mean that obviously would help to muck things up. And it's so funny because she did quote the parks and the parks themselves in saying that they kind of further infuriated people by admitting that they were pulsing it slower for a more enhanced guest experience.
And to be honest, that pulsing is probably just what stopped the site from crashing completely.
Right, and I think you see, and it's the vague verbiage. Isn't there a funny way to, like an entertaining way to say, hey, so that we can actually keep it running, we got to pulse it? Because I feel like she literally said that it was infuriating that that they told them that, and I thought that was smart on Disney's part in order to keep the site going.
Yeah.
Because nothing's more infuriating than having waited an hour and then the site crashed and you got to start all over.
And then you lose your spot.
Yes, exactly.
So I think the move was smart. Whether they rolled it out correctly, I mean, honestly, you'll never know.
Well, yeah, we won't know because we're not California residents and we didn't try.
But I mean, in general, even if they had been specific, you're still going to get irritated that you had to wait.
Right. Well, and then here's the other thing is that she also mentioned that there were people that said that they got their tickets in 30 minutes.
Which makes sense, though. I mean, if you think about it, it's the same way like you get that into a store on Black Friday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? If you happen to be that half a millisecond ahead of the other millions of people,
it makes a
you're
difference.
Get your tickets really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. So she says, fast forward to noon. She actually wraps it up as fast forward to noon Friday when, after 28 hours, 9 attempts and 2 hours of sleep, I landed 2 reservations to the park for my son and me. Oh, the magic. What I want to know is, don't judge. Oh, Bronson. Of course, Bronson went to Backstreet Boys. And we're not judging Bronson.
I tried. I would have been there with you.
But what I wanted to know, because she was really not, I don't want to say vague, but maybe she was just so overwrought with joy that she didn't specify, do you think she got a April 30th reservation?
I don't know.
Valid question though, right?
Dude.
I don't know.
Like months down the line, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, especially after 28 hours, I don't see them pulsing the queue that long. I mean, I want to say that hers actually crashed, and it was her son's that had got it up. But by the time they got through to the checkout line, they fell asleep. They missed their opportunity, had to start the process all over again, and that's why it actually went to a 28-hour ordeal. But nonetheless, they had to do it, and I'm just wondering now where they landed in line.
And I'm sure that they weren't just doing it for opening day. I'm sure you had to pretty much pick your time, pick your day.
Yeah.
So for all we know, it could be June.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so when did you actually, knowing that many people were trying to click in, and I'm guessing people probably even bought bots for this.
Probably.
You know what I mean? What do you think she probably ended up at, Lorena?
If she was kind of towards the tail end after 28
hours,
she was probably towards the rear end of
May, if not June.
Yeah, whenever they extended until, because I mean, if you look at the news, I think California is supposed to kind of 100% reopen June 15th, if I remember correctly.
If I remember correctly, I remember hearing something.
And
like
so
that.
I would think you would have from April whatever the opening day till probably just before June 15th.
Yeah. I mean, would make sense, right? So
and even maybe past that if Disney doesn't want to completely open by June 15th.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because even though the state opens, Disney's its own entity. They can decide to open or not open according to their plans. How's about this? We're in Hawaii, but do you know anybody that tried the process?
Someone who is visiting for work tried the process. It took her, I think she said between 7 and 8 hours.
Yeah.
In the morning, and apparently she was one of the lucky ones.
Oh, nice. Good
who
for
was
her.
able to,
Like
to
a quick,
get in 7 to 8
she would
hours.
say it was a pleasant experience, probably.
She was frustrated, but I mean, she's very closely related to Disney, so I think she has that understanding of, I'm going up against millions of people here to get a very, very limited entry into a park, so you're going to be waiting.
Good for her. I wonder if she knew that, it was going to be a fight. Sure she did, right?
Guaranteed. Like, you have to think everyone from LA is trying to get into the park.
At least LA, because this is the other thing I was wondering. I was like, okay, it says California residents, but is it Southern California residents or just
I
the
think it was
entire...
just all California residents.
Wow.
But you have all the Disney fans who are park annual pass holders, you have your DVC members, like, you have very hardcore fanatics in that general area, and you're
I'd be
fighting
surprised
yourself.
if they didn't make their way to Orlando. I mean, I made my way all the way from here to Orlando, so if they didn't, they're not real. No, I'm just joking.
Because it's an option.
It is an option. It's a very viable one now that we have a direct flight to Orlando. But all right, let's move on. Now, we wanted to talk about Marvel because, well, let's see. We're wrapping up Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? We only have one more episode of that left, so we'll get that. We'll get to that after this. But let's go back to WandaVision because that was such a great series. Even though I want to say that the finale wasn't my favorite episode of them all, but WandaVision has recently been in the news because on Doctor Strange 2 they're filming currently, and they're filming in the UK first of all, right? And so that's kind of a crazy thing is that it's happening. It's live. They are filming. But who is this? This is the direct.com has a article titled Doctor Strange 2 outdoor scene with WandaVision's twins reportedly being filmed. Now that is quite, I don't want to say an ominous, but it's a loaded headline. Because I mean, let's be honest, that says a lot. We now know that the twins are going to be involved in Doctor Strange.
It's almost confirmation, like what we were talking about, that WandaVision is tied to Doctor Strange 2, which was always been rumored.
Right.
But if this is true and there was the sighting, it guarantees that they're closely tied in.
So I read into this article, and I even read into an article within the article. I read into it because it said that it was confirmed that Ashley Olsen, Stephanie?
No,
no, Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yes, sorry. Elizabeth Olsen.
Not Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Well, I'm just an Olsen fan. But no, she confirmed that in the end, the post-credit scene on the final episode, she was actually in the Darkhold trying to find the twins.
In a very Doctor Strange-esque
Right, exactly right. So right now we're just, now that was confirmed, that she was trying to find the twins to hear that they're being filmed, oh my God. Like, yeah, now it's being so, everything is kind of really falling into place with all of these things. Now, I'm going to quote just the ending 2 paragraphs just so that we can hear what they're thinking of. It says, it is reasonable to assume that Wanda's meddling at the Darkhold is the reason for Doctor Strange's involvement. Yes. The Sorcerer Supreme could provide insight regarding the consequences of Wanda's actions, as well as giving a clear direction of what really happened to Billy and Tommy. There's a good chance that Wanda's twins are being trapped by the sequel's villain. We knew there was somebody bigger, right? It wasn't just Agatha all along. So villains somewhere in the multiverse, and it's up to the powerful MCU pair to find them and put an end to the madness aspect of the whole ordeal. Now, it also goes on to say that the twins could be used as leverage for Wanda, and the villain could even force the Scarlet Witch to fight Doctor Strange to save the lives of Billy and Tommy. If anything, the possibilities are endless, and it'll be interesting to see how it will unfold. What does it mean to you, CeeLo, as far as like what we can expect now that we see that the confirmation of the twins being found being filmed in the UK?
I love it.
Yeah.
Because WandaVision will make more sense.
Yes.
Just for that reason, because I think it was a great show.
It was a great show.
Regardless of how slow anyone may have thought it started, it ended up being a phenomenal show on so many different levels.
It started slow. Like, you have to be honest. Like, it started slow. It's just that once it picked up, it made it worth that trip.
It was almost like they played to the fans, like just dropping Easter eggs here, dropping Easter eggs here, to the point where, like you said, the ending wasn't like the ending we were all hoping for,
right?
Because it was building up to a culmination.
Yes.
But now that we know Elizabeth Olsen's in it, her twins are in it, there's hope that almost looking back at WandaVision, it may make that show even better.
Yeah.
Once you see the connection between the two, I'm excited. We'll finally find out who the real villain is. I'm probably jumping off my Mephisto train because I don't think he's a big enough villain to hold up in the regular.
Wow, MCU. Really? Okay, then who's that mean? Who do you think it'll be?
I don't know, and it may, depending on how that show goes and how the other shows connect to that one. Yeah. There may not be like a specific villain. I think with the multiverse, and we know Kang is coming.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about different timelines and stuff. It
they have to have a specific villain. Stop it.
But it could be just ramifications of her if she was to do something to try to get her kids in this.
Right, like the explanation from the Great One when she was talking to Bruce Banner about the timeline and all that stuff. Yeah. That's cool, but I'm
hoping for another overarching villain from that storyline. Yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if it's like, be careful what you do, and then she gets her kids back.
I like Bronson's.
And a timeline comes up, and then a unrelated villain comes out because of.
Oh my God! If we get another unrelated, anyway, yes. What about address Bronson's question, will you?
You sure it's not another boner? It could be. It could be.
If we get another Ralph Boner,
yeah,
that would be. No, that would.
But the cool part about it is, it's got to be intertwined. Already.
Well, and
because of the post-credit scene.
Here's another crazy thing, kind of just like a one-off. I did see another article on Daisy Ridley being, I guess, captured as Rogue in a picture somewhere.
Huh.
Yes. Yeah. Imagine Disney tying the X-Men in, and all of a sudden we have a Rogue Daisy Ridley Rogue.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
So, how's about this? Another question that I want to ask that I'm sure a lot of people would be asking if they watched the entire WandaVision, if they were fans of this and were kind of wondering, trying to guess what's going to happen in the future, are we going to see White Vision?
I would hope so, at some point.
In Doctor Strange 2? Is there space for him? Is there anywhere?
I think there is space for him.
Okay.
If Elizabeth Olsen is active in a movie, there's space for a White Vision.
You're right, absolutely.
If he showed up in another one, like, would I be surprised? Not necessarily, but I still feel like that's the storyline.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, because we end with him still kind of, almost his last words was like, "I'm Vision" or something like that, right? Now, we don't know how much of the emotion he's actually taking with him. Does he still have that connection to Wanda? Is he following her somewhere that she doesn't know if that's possible? So I had to ask you that because I was wondering that myself.
In terms of that connection, I don't think so because he left.
You mean left the Hex?
Yeah, like he just bolted. I think had he absorbed some of that emotion, he probably
would still
wanted
be around,
to
stick around
to help.
Yeah.
Now, could he be figuring things out and he has the emotion? Yes, but I just thought like that's kind of strange. He was just like, "I'm Vision,
I'm out." Yeah. No, totally. And so just to kind of one last point that I want to talk about, especially now that we're going to step into the Falcon and Winter Soldier immediately after this. WandaVision was so Easter egg heavy that I would watch it once, go back, and I'll watch it again for more Easter eggs that I felt like I might have missed. Like I would even do research. I do not find myself, actually, there is no need. You just know straight out from watching these episodes of Falcon and Winter Soldier that you do not need to comb through it for those Easter eggs, unless we're being completely oblivious and they're just like, ha ha ha, I haven't seen a video like that yet. Which one do you prefer of the two styles?
Honestly, I like WandaVision.
Yes, agreed.
Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of is hitting me like how I imagined Andor to be.
Okay, right.
If you did not have the Marvel characters in there, like, it'd still be a good show. And right now, like, they're alluding to some stuff, but I feel like you could take that same storyline about different made-up superheroes, and you could have a great show. Like, and I would probably enjoy it as much as I am now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad, but WandaVision was just so deep.
Yeah, it really was. So, very much looking forward to Doctor Strange 2. I know you are as well because it is, once again, advertised as Marvel's first horror film.
Yeah, horror film. It's supposed to be like
suspense
the
thriller
movie for the MCU moving forward. So there's so much to look forward to.
So is this, you mean like this is the Phase 4, 5, 6 jumping off point? Is that what you mean?
I believe so, because you have Black Widow, which is kind of a prequel, for lack of a better term, and I'm sure they'll tie it in somehow.
Sure, have to.
You have Shang-Chi, which I don't see them creating everything around him.
Right. What timeline are we working with now, by the way?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think anybody knows. Everybody's still waiting on a trailer.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, I think they'll introduce a lot of things. So you have the 10 rings,
right,
obviously, which there are no Infinity Stones in terms of power, but it's something that a lot of the villains have been trying to get
absolutely.
power.
For some time since Ant-Man and Wasp, I think, right?
Yeah.
Or
yes.
That's where we first hear about it. Yeah.
Even kind of referenced in one of the Iron Mans with the fake Mandarin.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It's kind of been, that one great thing that Kevin Feige and the Marvel Studios has done has been giving you like little splashes so that when you finally get that big step, you're like, what? Absolutely.
So I don't think that will be a major stepping stone, but when you bring in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with Elizabeth Olsen, there's the potential to bring everybody back.
So interesting because they have this, and then they also have the Eternals coming out at the same time, which kind of gives them like just crazy freedom. When it comes
I think
to
those are the two, Doctor Strange and the Eternals, which are going to be like the two
kind of like
Avengers style.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, everything else has been more of a an individual
just
but
to
tied
wet
in,
your palate,
like an Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, but then you have the Avengers.
Yeah.
And I think Doctor Strange and the Eternals are that.
Just blow it wide open again.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. That's cool to think about. It's very, very cool. And
what's up,
just
Evan?
Hey, Ev, how's it going? Just so you know, Doctor Strange 2, as of right now, is set to come out March 25th of 2022. So let's hope that it stays on track for that because I can't wait to get this guy out. I really can't.
Yes, I cannot wait.
All right, now let's move on to the last segment. And we don't have to keep it too very long, but I definitely wanted to touch on it because it was an eye-opener for me. Absolutely, I was not ready for it, and it was really heavy. But what did you think of the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
It did not feel... The last couple episodes did not feel like
we're almost
an
done?
MCU.
Oh, yeah. No, without question. It felt more like
they were dark.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, they were dark. They were heavy. The dialogue is so much different within the last two episodes.
Yeah, it's addressing real-world topics. It's not fantasy anymore.
And Isaiah... what's his last name?
I don't know. Who's Isaiah?
The guy who was tested on.
Oh yeah.
He was referencing like actual events from World War II.
Right. No, and that's
like the Tuskegee Airmen he was referencing.
Right. You feel that, right?
He was kind of touching on the African American or black population that was tested on without them knowing about it. So they were bringing in like very heavy things, which I think for Marvel we hadn't really necessarily seen that before.
Or we never even really addressed it.
Yeah,
right?
and then they had a lot of juxtaposition, not necessarily Easter eggs, but when you go back and you watch Captain America and he rescues the soldiers, he gets like this hero's welcome. When Isaiah, when he went to go rescue the airmen or whoever he was rescuing, because they were also injected with the serum, he was almost treated like a prisoner of war when he came back.
Exactly, and so I think he used that exact terminology.
Yeah, so it was a very deep, dark episode with a lot of punches of reality in it.
Like racial overtones, without question. Yeah, that for me was... It really came... It almost dropped like a sledgehammer on me, especially this episode, because... Yeah, they were touching on it when we first met him with Bucky, just like, whoa, that was...
But just surface.
Yeah, right, no. That was really dark. But when you had Sam sit down with Isaiah, and they had that conversation, and, he, like... It was just like, whoa, we are really talking about a black Captain America. Like, that's really what it is, right? There was no... When Sam got the shield from Captain America in Endgame, it felt like a nice thing. Like, it felt like, it was like, wow, that's cool. Like, I can see that.
Yeah.
That feels right. But I guess in that naivety, in the euphoria of that moment, was lost the reality of what's really going on today. And I think it was amazing. And I don't know, maybe we were supposed to be ready for that with, Sam swearing and all that stuff. Maybe that was them kind of like winding us up and saying like, hey guys, it's about to get real. And they're really dropping it to the point that it is real now.
Yeah. And it's interesting because they kind of make you assume that, he's just scared of the responsibility. But now you understand.
You understand that it's bigger than that.
Yeah, it's a lot bigger than that. And I think to an extent, like, he didn't even think it was as big as it is now until he met Isaiah. And then now that he kind of had this conversation with him, he was like, I might not be worthy, but I have to try.
Yeah. And that's the best way to say it. I absolutely love the way you said that because that's exactly right. But I love also the fact that they brought to the forefront that moment with him and Bucky, where he was like, "Now I hope you understand."
Yeah.
You know,
and he was like, "I didn't even think about it."
Right, exactly. And it almost took that moment for me to understand where we were going right there. And it feels weird for me to say, especially being, you know, for lack of a better term, black. You know, like I'm here just loving the adventure and all that stuff that's happening, and then this whole thing comes on, and all of a sudden, like, my smile is just like, holy smoke, this just got real.
Yeah, and it's more about just them individually, whether you wanted Bucky to have it or you wanted Sam to have it.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily like, nah, this guy, he's a good guy, like, he deserves a shield.
Yes.
Like, there's just, it's so much more now just with that shield and what it means. And
there's a actual metaphorical, proverbial, and obviously physical weight to it. Yeah, that, I mean, I thought it was masterfully done, snuck in there, and it was like a grenade. Like, they threw it, they're just like, okay, just give it. Boom, there it is. Yeah, there it is, you guys, there it is. So I thought that was great. Okay, we are coming up on what we are assuming is the last episode, right? And we do know that there's still a MCU character that's going to be part of the show, or that's going to do a cameo, and it's not really going to spin into anything bigger, but it's going to be a character that pops into the show. Who do we think that character is going to be? Who do you think that character is going to be?
So I've been reading and watching a lot, so I can't take credit for this.
All right.
I feel it is the strongest one I've heard.
If you say Shang-Chi, we're turning the mic off right now.
And then the serious show, and then all of a sudden Kung Fu.
Yeah.
No,
Iron Fist. Danny Rand.
Yeah, no, for real. I think we're gonna see Thaddeus Ross.
What? Interesting.
And the reason I see this is
Agent Ross, huh?
Yeah, and what's her name? Elaine, whatever her name is, who came in as that Val character.
Oh, yeah, Val de Contessa.
Also known as Madame Hydra.
Right.
Sounds like she's recruiting. Yeah.
Well, she did say to, what's his name, Wyatt Russell, John Walker.
Yeah.
She told him, like, just pick up the phone when I call. So, yeah, it's a total recruiting.
Yeah, and her character is not a big character in Marvel. Like, she's generally a good person with S.H.I.E.L.D., and when she did go to Hydra, it was to partially undermine Hydra.
Right.
But it sounds like she's recruiting.
Yeah,
right?
without
like,
question.
Give me a call.
You got that fit.
Or give me an answer.
Yeah.
Or answer your phone, whatever it is. And he is being taken to the raft, which we saw in Winter Soldier, I believe.
He as in Agent Ross.
Sorry, I'm mixing the two. So she's recruiting him. Zemo is being taken to the raft.
Yes, yeah, by the Wakandans.
And so
at
this point, Zemo and what's his name? Wilson.
Sam Wilson, yeah.
Sam Wilson, or not Sam Wilson? Is it Sam Wilson?
I don't know. Sam Wilson is the Falcon.
No, the bad Captain America.
Oh, John Walker.
John Walker. So at this point, they're in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They're both evil-ish.
Yes.
They're both kind of under watch. Mm-hmm. I could see in this next episode Val trying to get Zemo freed from the raft and recruiting them to become the Thunderbolts.
I like that. So wait, where does Thaddeus Ross come into this?
Thaddeus Ross, if I'm not mistaken, oversaw the Thunderbolts for a certain portion of time.
Yeah, and you know what? It would make sense because, I mean, Thaddeus Ross is, if in case you guys don't remember where he's from, it was in Black Panther, right? I mean, was that where we saw him last?
He was in Black Panther. He was in Endgame as like a hologram.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, he was also in one of the old Hulks.
Oh, really? But not as Thaddeus Ross.
I'm almost, maybe, I forget.
One of the Sony Hulks?
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure. I gotta double check that. So don't hold me to that.
Okay.
But there's been a lot of talk about him becoming Red Hulk.
Oh,
rumors.
Right. Wait, wasn't that a different name though, like Thunder Bridge or something like that? Yeah, but that would be dope.
But Thaddeus Ross essentially was a leader of the Thunderbolts, and now you have this open to Walker. You have this open to Zemo, because you know Zemo's not gone. They can't just shoot him off the screen.
He was way
like
too great of a character,
and he's almost has the same end game as Sam and Bucky now. Or they're trying to end this. They just want to end it different ways.
Yes.
As does Walker wants to end this.
Right. Well, and we see him creating his own shield and getting ready to buck the system.
So you see a similar end game for those two. And And you can also bring back some villains who were kind of cast aside.
Like who?
Ghost.
Okay.
Like, she's not a huge name.
And she was from the
actress.
Ant-Man. From
Yes.
Ant-Man, right? She was a villain in Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So you have what I would almost call the Marvel version of the Suicide Squad, which
Sure.
could lead to a very cool Disney Plus.
Oh my God. That
show.
would be a total call out though if Marvel Studios creates their like Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a thing in the comic
Right, no,
books.
they have
it's
it.
a
I know
very
they do.
anti-hero team
Uh-huh.
who are reformed, but they do it in their way.
Right.
And those are two people who I could see almost teaming up
No,
because they want to
absolutely.
end it the same exact way.
Wow, you guys heard it here first.
Not
CeeLo
first.
dropping bombs.
I just heard
No,
it from.
You heard it in Hawaii first. CeeLo dropping bombs. Get ready for Volt to come out.
Can't you see that as a Disney Plus show?
No, I totally can. Or I can even see them. I mean, like I said, if you wanted a direct comparison, that would be a crazy like 1v1 Suicide Squad versus Volt. Like it's another. It'd be a great another spin-off, especially if you're trying to, as Disney, trying to generate some box office.
Like, people love anti-heroes.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's
that's
the thing.
Yeah.
Especially
Like Maleficent,
like Deadpool.
Like,
Yeah.
you have these characters and
Yeah.
people gravitate towards them
I
because they're
know.
evil, but they're kind of good at the same
You
time.
see, CeeLo, and that's why you're on the show. Good job. Thank you so much. All right. Let us not hesitate any longer. We actually are going to do a unboxing / mail call. I have more unboxing. I got this mail a while ago. But this is what's on my table. All right. And so we're going to let CeeLo do the honors because I already know what it is. I bought it. So it's for me. CeeLo will do the honors. And this was something that I needed for my set. So I wanted to share here because it's not like a super common thing, but nonetheless, it was dope. This is Amazon, and I will say this: Amazon, thank you for having free shipping. CeeLo and I were just talking about how companies will say, you get free shipping after a certain amount, and it just does not. It does not come through. All right,
It's
CeeLo.
a $700 transformer.
Yeah, I know, right? If it's in a box that small, it transforms 19 inches. All right. So it's like a babushka, you guys. Like, CeeLo just opened the box, and there's a smaller box.
Boxes in a box.
A box in the box.
Multiverse.
Yeah. All right. What are we looking at, CeeLo?
We are looking at the 50th anniversary.
Oh yeah. Okay, it is. Yeah.
Jawa.
Sweet. Now
Soft goods.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious? That when you pulled it out, I was like, "Wait a minute, is that what I ordered?" But yes, it is.
Do they have a little orange underneath thing?
Yeah. So this is the one that. So I don't know if you saw the show that Bronson and I did, but I actually ordered Bronson and I the Ben Kenobi with the vinyl. So this is a play off of the original. Was it Kenner figure? And so that's why the color tones are the way they are, is because those are the 1977.
Very cool.
It's a direct copy off of the 1977 look. So this one I got off of Amazon. I don't know if it's an exclusive, but there that guy is. As you know, I am a big fan of soft goods and the plastics together. So not like a huge brag piece, but just something that I need to have to put on my wall with
Hey,
the
my
rest of the
favorite
set.
pieces are not brag pieces.
Yeah, no, we're simple guys.
Yep.
And I put them back in this box, but yeah. So this Jawa piece, I want to say that there were 3 total. So right now, what came in for me was this Jawa and the Obi-Wan Kenobi. All I'm waiting for left is none other than the Greedo. So and I love the color scheme on him. So when he comes in, you can bet that it'll be an unboxing for us. But please remember what I said, because we will be talking about it as soon as it becomes a bigger thing for us. But do remember what I talked about earlier in the show, that we are working on something much, much bigger, and it involves participation by the entire collector community, because I am, in essence, putting my money where my mouth is when it comes to this. And I'm asking you to make sure that if you're a collector in Hawaii, that you tune in and always are participating, because that's what it's going to take for us to be recognized as a community, as a collector community here in Hawaii. So I don't mean to leave you on such an ominous note, or do I? But nonetheless, let us wrap it up here. So we want to remind you that we always ask that you follow us on YouTube at The Murphy Street Productions. There you will find all of our things. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always, always, always make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can get notified anytime we drop any new videos. I know that I dropped the Pokemon hunt just a little while ago, and I actually dropped that on YouTube well before I did it on Instagram. I just wanted to make sure that we got some run on YouTube before we put it on IG. But for the most part, we will have some exclusive stuff on YouTube, so to make sure that it's worth your time. Other than that, you guys, make sure that you guys follow us on Spreaker, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and almost any other podcast hosting platform that you can think of. Other than that, CeeLo, where can they find you at?
Instagram, CT96707.
Nice. You can find me at Murphy Street 808. That is MurphyStreet 808. You guys, wait, hold on. Bronson says, when we compared the Obi-Wan, the colors were so in sync with the original. They absolutely were. This jowl was pretty good too. So, but yes, once again, you guys, do not forget to tune in every Sunday to us. We'll come back with something else for your Saturday very, very soon. And until we see you guys next time, don't forget your slippers.
Aloha.
Aloha.